Hey guys, there's gonna be a small change in venue today because, you see, I'm back home and I have black parents. And when you have black parents, when they speak, even if it's just to ask each other a simple question, the whole house must hear this question. And so I moved downstairs to my sister's apartment to talk to you about this week's episode of Game of Thrones, aka the episode that filled me with so much life, I died, came back to life, and am now resurrected here to talk with you today. I will warn you that this episode, like Game of Thrones and the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series, are two things that when I talk about them or watch them or read them, I get ghetto. What do I mean by this? I mean, I start calling people's bitches and motherfuckers and telling everyone to suck my dick, eat my ego, all kinds of very vulgar language that I wouldn't usually use because, I'm trying to be proper. But this episode got me livid and ludicrous, so I have to basically be that person that I didn't want you guys to see, because I'm like, I don't want you to think I'm ghetto because I live in Brooklyn and, I got dreads and whatnot, but it's gonna have to be that way today because I'll tell you about fucking Theon Greyjoy. The episode begins with Maester Luwin trying to, well, he doesn't try, he succeeds in getting a raven from Winterfell to Robb's troops, telling him that basically Winterfell has just been sacked by Theon, has no motherfucking shaft, Greyjoy, who has betrayed the Starks to his father and has taken Winterfell. He goes up to Bran and tells Bran that he has to yield Winterfell to Theon, and if he does that, that he will spare the people. Bran, being, the little great boy he is, first he's kind of like, no, I ain't gonna give you shit. Then, Theon talks about, I'm gonna kill bitches, and he's like, okay, you obviously tripping, so I'm gonna let you, do what you gotta do. And then, so he gives Winterfell over to Theon, and Theon is like, I'm the new lord, and this other guy, some badass mofo in the crowd, is like, no, suck my dick, you a little bitch, I hate you. And I'm just like, yes, tell him he has no balls. And then Theon, has one of his people come and hit him in the back of the head, and he's like, I'm the prince, and all this kind of bullshit that I don't feel like hearing. And then Sir Roderick comes in, and he basically tells Theon, your little bitch ass cunt, stop. And you need to get the fuck out of my face because I should have killed your ass when I had a chance, because you came up in here forgetting this is where you belong. These people helped raise your ass when your daddy turned you out because he didn't want your little bitch ass no more. The Starks took you in. They took care of you. They raised you as their own. Damn right they didn't treat you as, exactly their own because you were their goddamn child, okay? You see how Catelyn treats Jon? She treats him like a bastard. They should treat you the same way because you're a little tight ass, little snot nose, can't stand you, I wish you would die, I hate your guts. See? That's kind of what he said, but it's kind of like my interpretation of what he said, but that's basically what he told Theon. And so this other little rapist, murdering, pillaging pirate motherfucker next to Theon is telling him, you gotta kill this guy. Theon's like, nah, I really want to, and he's like, dude, iron price. And Luwin's like, no, dude, no, you don't want to do this. He's better off alive than dead. Theon's like, nope, I'm gonna do what it do. And I'm just like, yeah, you wanna be street? Theon? Make the hard decisions. Be tough. Do what you gotta do then, Theon. Do what you got to do. And so he chops off Sir Roderick's head, and little Bran is crying his little heart out. And I just see little Rick, and I'm like, you gonna be like a little moly, feral little motherfucker in the future because they just killing everyone around you. And I'm just like, baby, you gonna be okay, I hope, because you gonna be severely emotionally traumatized by the time this is over. I was like, he was pretending that the nuts in the last episode was Theon's balls, and just smash that shit. And then Tonks, before the whole thing with Roderick happens, tries to be good to fucking Theon. But I'm like, Tonks, stop trying to be slick. We ain't friends. Then we go to fucking Jon Snow getting told that he doesn't know a goddamn thing and that he's not wild and that he thinks the North is badass and he will die for honor. And the guy's telling him, look, stop talking about you gonna die and how you're so glad to do it. You better fight for your right to party because people don't give a fuck about you. They ain't gonna know who you are when you die. They don't care how you died. All they know is that someone's at the wall. Could be anybody. They don't care. You wanna live? You better fight for that. And you better not take any day for granted because you're in the north and you're in winter, and winter is always coming when you're in the north. Then we get Tywin time, and Tywin is talking to his generals who sent a message to the wrong house a house that's under fealty to the Starks like a dumbass. I was kind of like, dude, you lucky Tywin didn't kill your ass. Because if I was Tywin, I'd be like, dude, obviously you can't read. Yes, you need to get hooked on comic because you stuck on Dorne right now because you cannot read. And so, you know, he's pissed off at that. And Arya and Tywin, I think Arya secretly kind of likes Tywin, and Tywin secretly kind of likes Arya. Because they also kind of like little glances of like, everyone's stupid. And Arya's like, I know, dude. I know, it's hard. And it's just, it's so cute yet horrible because you know that Tywin, you shouldn't like Tywin, and Arya is in a position like risking her life all the time. It's so interesting to see it unfold in their relationship because it's just kind of like, Tywin, you're so evil and you're smart, but I love you. And Arya, you're just a little badass bundle of joy. But then Petyr Baelish, aka Littlefinger, comes in, and Arya's like, oh shit, you know who I am. Thankfully, thanks to classism, Peter's not exactly looking in Arya's direction most of the time, but Arya's still kind of like, nope, about to be a ninja, you ain't gonna see my face. And then, Littlefinger tells Tywin that, you know, the Tyrells basically, now that Renly's dead, they haven't sworn their fealty to anyone, and because Loras thinks that Stannis is the one who killed, Renly, and this is true, obviously, the Lannisters would be best to pick them up and make Marjorie queen or some sort of way. And so Peter puts the seeds of that in Tywin's head. Then we get another Jon Snow scene. Not even Jon could ruin this episode for me completely. And he and his group find a group of wildlings, and they slaughter them except for one, Ygritte, which is a wildling woman. And, you know, at first Jon's like, let's take her with us, but the guy's like, if it were us, they wouldn't take us, so you just gotta kill her. And so they leave so that Jon can kill Ygritte, but Jon can't do it. He swings the sword and misses, but then he wants to chase after the girl, like he was actually gonna kill her. I'm just like, Jon, you ain't gonna kill nobody. Okay, you ain't gonna kill nothing. Why are you chasing after her like you gonna prove a point? Like, even when he finally catches up to her, he doesn't stab her in the throat. I'm just like, what are you doing? And he runs after her, not knowing anything. Like, didn't the guy just tell you in your last scene that if you get too comfortable, you go and die? Now look at you. You stranded in some godforsaken place, don't know how to get back because you know it's snow everywhere, your footsteps ain't gonna be there the next day because it's all wind and shit. And so you just stuck out in the wilderness like a dumbass. And that's why no one likes you. And so now he's stuck with Ygritte and really no way to find his group right now. Then, oh my god, this sequence was just too much. Myrcella leaves to go to Dorne, where Tyrion thinks she'll be the safest, but Cersei is, you know, she's pissed off because this is what exactly happened to Cersei when she was getting married to Robb. She just got shipped off to be with some guy, and so she threatens Tyrion, saying that I hope you love someone so much one day so that I can take them away from you. And Tyrion's like, oh god, this bitch is crazy. And then they start leaving, and there's a group of people outside, and they're just, you know, saying stuff up to Joffrey and all kind of things. And, you know, little Prince Tommen is there, and he's sad because his sister went away. Tommen is adorable. I love him. And Joffrey tries to be a little mean-ass, telling him, princes don't cry. And Sansa's trying to be like, leave him alone. But she's like, what? And she's like, I'm sorry. But, you know, and then we see a little bit of the Hound. The Hound, my homie. And, so, anyway, they're going through this place, and everyone's kind of yelling at them and screaming, you know, about how Joffrey is this and Joffrey's that. And someone throws a mud pie at Joffrey. And then Joffrey orders his man to kill whoever did it, and then they just start, this whole mob starts, they start grabbing people, and, you know, the Hound grabs Joffrey just being a badass, finally, you know, he's been there forever, they really never get to show him be really hardcore, but he just goes, stabbing and killing, everyone tries to get by Joffrey, and then they have people protecting Cersei, and Tyrion, and bringing them on, but Sansa and her handmaidens are far to the side, and so, you know, no one's really getting to them, and they're just getting swept up, and women are getting raped, and the guy who was blessing Myrcella on her way, they rip his body apart, like, they get grabbed the arm and shit, just like, oh my, Jesus Christ, mercy, and then, so, Sansa is trying to run away from the mob, my poor baby Sansa, I know y'all all hate her, but I don't give a shit, my poor baby is trying to run away and be safe from these crazy motherfuckers, but people are following her to rape her, basically, a group of, like, 3 or 4 men, grab her to do this, and Tyrion, they cut and you see back to Tyrion, and he's telling Joffrey, like, why did you try and attack these people? They're starving. You don't do this. And he slapped Joffrey again, which was epic. And Joffrey's like, you can't do that! You can't do that! Tyrion's like, shut the fuck up, okay? You're stupid. You let all that shit happen. And he tries to be like, where's Sansa? And no one knows what to do. And he tries to send people to go back and get her. But Joffrey's like, fuck that bitch. I don't care about her. No way. But, the Hound, Sandor, was already out there looking for her. So as these motherfuckers are about to rape Sansa, he comes and slaughters all of their exes. And I was just like, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Because I was getting so, like, I knew he was going to save her because, you know, I read the books. But I was so getting ready to be upset. I was so upset. I was like, why are you doing this to Sansa? She doesn't do nothing. Just leave her alone. Leave her alone. I was so distraught. But anyway, he saves her, calls her his little bird. I was like, yes, I got my shout out to the book, everything. And he takes her ass home and brings her back safe. And then Tyrion's like, good job. He's like, I did that for you. And I was like, yeah, you let a bitch know. And then it's horrible in the sense that it's not a scene from the books, the part where the rape happens of Sansa, but the almost rape happens with Sansa. But I feel like this will at least show people what she's dealing with. And I know, like, I love Sansa. I don't want to see her get hurt any more than she already does and how she gets beaten in the books. But so many people don't know that she gets beaten so many times in the book, and not enough time is ever spent with her character to really dive into depths with that. Not enough time is putting into depth with that, and the only real thing you get to see of Sansa is just Sophie's great acting. But people aren't really absorbing that, and so I feel like scenes like this, even though they show really strong brutality towards women, I feel like at least this shows that she's just not, like, dealing with passive threats. Like, shit can really go down in this place. And in the book, it happens to another woman. It's far more brutal, and I don't really want to get into that because it's something I'll talk about in the book TV edition review. But this scene was just kind of like, we get Dany talking with one of the Spice guys about how she wants all these ships. And he's like, I can't really trust you because there is no way that she can prove that if she goes back to Westeros, people are going to defend her. And he brings that up, and she's like, look, when I think of stuff, when I put my mind to doing stuff, shit gets done. I'm a Disney princess. My dreams come true. There's a whole song about that shit, whatever. But the guy's like, look, that's nice and all, but you talking about how you're going to take something that's yours every single episode that you're in does not mean that anything is going to be taken. And it's just kind of like, okay, I got that. And then she's kind of like, fuck everyone. I got to get the fuck out of here. We get a little more Tywin Arya bonding time. Arya tries to steal a paper that gives information about Robb Stark and what Tywin's gonna do. So she tries to steal the information to send to, like, a raven or whatever. But first Tywin comes in and he asks her how she learned to read. She tells him some bullshit story about how she learned to read. And then she goes to ask him a question about, like, did he know his father? And then we get a little bit of backstory about Tywin. And it's really interesting because I was just thinking the other day about how I was going to talk about in a review that they don't really go to depth with a lot of character development. I think that Tywin's father and the story of how his father basically almost brought their entire, family to ruin shows why Tywin is so hell-bent on, having Lannister pay his debts. The whole idea of honor, of why he was so willing to, after Cat got, to Tyrion, why he was so willing to go through so much to get him back. Because, it's not the norm for him to have, like, gone and raided the Riverlands like that. They would have had more diplomatic communication. But he's just like, no, I don't play those games. I saw what happened with my father. It's not going to happen to me. And Arya uses story time as a way of getting the sheet of paper and rolling it up and trying to escape with it. However, when she goes to try and give it away, some guy who works with Tywin, I forget his name, finds her. And he takes the paper and tries to go tell Tywin what happens. However, Arya sees Jaqen, or whatever the fuck his name is, Rogue Dude, and tells him, you gotta kill him now. And the scene is so perfect, because as soon as the guy's walking in to go talk to Tywin, arrow to the air, dead. I was like, Rob tries to get some booty call ass from this girl, Janine, from Valestra, or whatever the fuck it's called, I forget. But, he's flirting with her, and he's trying to be all like, hey, what's up? But he, as we know, is engaged to a Frey. So Cat comes in and is kind of like, baby, I know you want to get your dick wet, but you can't right now. I know you want to follow your heart, but you have someone that you are bound to. And then their scene kind of ends suddenly when they get a message from Winterfell. Then we get Jon again. He and Ygritte are walking together. They have to stop for the night, and so he ties her up. They lay down, they're about to go to sleep, and you know, she tried to bump and grind on him, and he's like, no, I don't know how to deal with my boner. And so he's like, stop. But he doesn't even think to actually move. He just keeps telling her to stop. Ygritte's kind of playing with him like, what? Oh, I'm sorry. Is my ass on your dick kind of disturbing you right now? I'm sorry. I'll stop. I thought I stopped. I didn't. My bad. And he's kind of like, boner. I don't know how to deal with boner. We see Robb talking to Cat about how Theon has betrayed them, and Cat's like, told you not to trust him. And I'm like, that's right, your mommy did say this. And so he sends troops up. Not his own troops, but he gets one of his soldiers to recruit his bastard men that are up there to try and retake Winterfell because of what's happened. And he talks about how he wants Theon sent back so that he can kill him himself. Which I'm just like, that's right, Robb. You kill that motherfucker. Seducing Theon. And the entire time I was thinking like, no, Tonks, don't do that. That's Remus's boobies and vagina. That was more of her than I ever wanted to see. But she seduces Theon with her bodaciousness, I guess, whatever. And then we get a scene with Sansa and Shae, and I really like this scene because it shows. I think a lot of people think that Sansa's just so pretentious and she doesn't think about people, but she does, and she wasn't aware because people in nobility aren't usually aware of other people suffering unless they go out and are part of that kind of situation. Like, they just don't know because they don't walk the streets every day. They don't see the poor sitting around and stuff by how she would give them bread. And Shae kind of talks to him, and you see that they've bonded and they've grown, and that she feels more comfortable talking with Shae, but then Shae reminds her, everyone can still be a spy, so just because we're cool doesn't mean you should even trust me. And I thought that scene was really good and really important in talking about what Sansa has to deal with in terms of not trusting people, and why in the beginning she was so reluctant to be comfortable with Shae, and how even Shae is like, don't be comfortable with me because you don't even know if you could actually trust me in the end. Tonks, she helps Bran, Rickon, Hodor, and a few other people escape from Winterfell. Just like, good job, Tonks, you use those skills. And she slices this guy. I'm just like, that's right, girl. Use that witchcraft and wizardry. So she helps Bran, Rickon, and all of them escape. And then the final scene we get is Dany walking with the guy who wants to date her. And she walks through a door and sees her entire horde has been slaughtered. All dead. And then she runs up and her dragons have been stolen. And I was just like, Lord, what is this madness? Because first of all, okay. Alright, I'm just going to edit here and I'm going to talk about the book for a real quick second. Not really spoilery, but that does not happen in the books. I know that they had to actually make up a storyline for a day to make it more interesting than it actually is. Because that doesn't actually happen. Her dragons don't get kidnapped, her hordes and get like slaughtered. It's kind of like, this complicates things just a wee bit. So I'm wondering how they're going to move on from that. But all in all, I love this episode. It was amazing that not even Jon Snow could ruin it. This is when shit is actually going to start kicking off. I'm so excited. I love it. I can't wait for next week. Thank God I have a television now and I can record these things earlier and like rant. Earlier today I was dancing and like, but I didn't get to record that because I just had black parents. So yeah, I'm excited.